blinding dust storms, damaging winds, and flash flooding that can wash away everything in its path. The monsoon is Arizona's stormiest time of year, and the ABC15 forecasters are here, helping to keep you and your family safe with the power of ABC15 Desert Doppler and the most accurate forecast in the valley. We're making sure you stay ahead of the storms before they strike. We have in-depth team coverage on how this monsoon will play out and what you need to know to get ready for it. You're watching the ABC15 Monsoon Special. Here's Chief Meteorologist Amber Sullins.
Love it or hate it, it's monsoon time in Arizona. While the rain and nighttime cool downs are much needed after our sweltering summer days, sometimes our monsoon storms do more harm than good. In fact, this is our severe weather season, the most dangerous time of year in Arizona. So we want to help you get ready for it. We're listening to your questions and getting answers about this monsoon season, like this one our Jordan Bonke got from Chastity.
What is a monsoon?
That's a good question, Chastity, because the monsoon is not actually a storm, like many people think. It's a seasonal shift in our winds that causes storms to form. Monsoons happen in various parts of the world, and the desert Southwest is one of them. At the end of June and beginning of July, our predominant winds shift out of the south as high pressure moves towards the Four Corners. Those southerly winds bring in moisture, then our intense summer heat causes all of that moisture to rise, producing powerful thunderstorms around our state. They develop first in the mountains, then move down toward the valley, bringing gusty winds, blowing dust, and rain. Thunder cracks, and lightning lights up the sky. Sometimes the downpours come so fast our streets get flooded and roads turn into rivers. It doesn't happen every day. It comes in bursts of monsoon action with breaks in between for days or even weeks at a time. The monsoon season officially begins June 15th, but often we have to wait until July for our atmosphere to moisten up enough to get rain here in the valley. Then storms are fair game until the end of September. Early on, monsoon season in the desert is a lot more wind than rain, and those winds can pick up massive walls of blowing dust, which scientists call haboobs. Meteorologist Justin Hobbs has a look at the impacts those dust storms have on our roads.
Winds begin to roar, a wall of dust builds, swallowing the sun and the horizon. These giant haboobs are a major monsoon threat.
Let me show you how these nasty dust storms form. It all begins when warm, saturated air starts to move in. That warm air likes to rise, and as it rises, it develops clouds. But some of these clouds get strong enough to form thunderstorms, typically here over Pinal County. But these storms, they don't last forever. They eventually run out of energy and collapse, sending strong winds out of them, hitting the ground, picking up dust and lofting it into the air. As the dust cloud builds, visibility drops, making it very dangerous to drive through.
While able to happen anywhere in the state, there are hot spots on our highways.
It's that stretch of I-10 between Tucson and Phoenix, along I-8, and then along I-10 west of Phoenix as well.
The most blinding 10-mile stretch is between Eloy and Picacho Peak. In 2020, ADOT developed a first-of-its-kind dust detection system using 13 dust sensors, message boards, cameras, and a weather radar. When visibility drops are detected, the lights go on.
The system, it puts messages on our overhead message board. The sensors can also, depending on the visibility and how much it's lessened, can reduce the speed limit in that area.
After 50 activations since 2020, has it resulted in fewer dust-related car crashes? We went to DPS looking for answers. They tell us that since the installation, there have been 8 collisions along this stretch of I-10 from dust storms, a 20% reduction from the 5 previous years.
We have seen that when the variable speed limits are lowered, the data does show that people are slowing down, they are paying attention.
Even though most of our dust storms come during the monsoon, they can happen any time of the year.
If you see the big wall of dust ahead of you, don't drive into it. It's a bad idea. Visibility drops to near zero.
So remember this advice. Pull aside, stay alive. If you're caught in a dust storm, pull as far as right as you can off of the road. Put your car in park, take your foot off the brake, turn your lights off, and don't turn your hazards on. This prevents crashes by keeping other drivers from mistaking your lights as a moving car they can follow. And and wait there until the dust storm completely clears.
After the dust storm has passed, you will notice something new this year. A team of meteorologists across the valley, including our very own Amber Sullins, have developed a dust storm severity scale. It's similar to the enhanced Vegeta scale for tornadoes. The new dust scale will determine the severity of dust storms after they hit on a scale of 1 to 6. The only 6 we've had so far was that epic Haboo that hit on July 5th, 2011. But look for us to start ranking any future dust storms that blow through.
Many of our giant dust storms are formed by what we call downbursts. Still ahead, we're following up on some of the damage those high winds leave behind. Plus, monsoon storms can knock out power for hours at a time. We'll have an inside look at how it's restored. And I'll show you how bad this monsoon season is expected to get. A forecast you won't want to miss coming up on this ABC15 Monsoon Special. But first, let's test your monsoon knowledge. Do you know how hot the average lightning bolt is? Is it A, 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, B, 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, C, 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or D, 100,000 degrees Fahrenheit? I'll have the answer for you right after the break. Welcome back. Before the break, we asked, how hot is the average bolt of lightning? If you answered C, 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, you are correct. Lightning is so hot, it's 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. More monsoon trivia still ahead on this ABC15 Monsoon Special.
I was watching the Diamondbacks game, and one of the windows in my condo unit literally got blown out of the building.
And what was your reaction? You said, was that a homer?
No, it landed on my balcony 5 feet from where I was sitting. Boom!
What did you say when that moment happened?
I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
What Larry was likely dealing with was a downburst. Now, they can lead to big-time damage to infrastructure and your property. Meteorologist Jorge Torres shows us exactly how they form and has an incredible story of recovery after one of last year's big storms.
Howling winds, flying debris, and sometimes total destruction. That's what downburst winds can do.
You can see the lights moving on the roof, on the ceiling, and that it just sounded like a tornado.
Great Skate in Glendale took a direct hit last July, ripping portions of the building apart. General Manager Sonia Britt wasn't inside at the time, but stayed on FaceTime with her staff through the storm.
Guys, I know. Take a deep breath, it's gonna be okay.
The downburst left a trail of destruction, tearing off parts of the roof, soaking their brand new maple skate floor, and shutting down the rink for 6 months.
The next morning, when I came in, there was wood and the roof all over the ground. Out front, out back, it was everywhere. It was at the apartments behind us, it was everywhere.
Let me show you exactly what happened. A thunderstorm moved in, and as it rained itself out, a powerful rush of wind raced out of the storm and down toward the ground. Once it hit the ground, it spread out in all directions, easily topping 70 miles an hour. Winds that strong can tear down trees, power lines, and anything else in their path. That's what we call a downburst, and we see them often during the monsoon. Think of it like pouring a bucket of water onto the floor, but instead of water, it's air, and it can cause serious damage fast.
But as the building flooded, the community help flooded in.
Everyone had towels in their hand, everyone had a trash can, everyone was trying to help however they could.
Great Skate is a place full of memories. Memories the staff and the regulars weren't willing to lose.
We have a huge adult skating community here that they skate here 3 or 4 nights a week as regulars, and they had nowhere to go skate, and they were calling me and texting me, and how's it coming, how's it going, can I help, can I do anything? We had just so much support from the community through the whole thing.
Having survived the storm, their biggest advice is to know your insurance policies inside and out before disaster strikes.
Know what to expect, know what you're doing as a business owner. Don't rely on your insurance agent to have that information.
A year later, Great Skate is back, stronger, smarter, and ready for whatever the next storm brings.
So happy to be open, so happy to have schools and birthday parties and daycares and all these guys back in the building enjoying themselves, families having a good time, making memories. I mean, that's what it's about.
That is what it's all about, really. I'm so glad to hear that Great Skate was able to recover after that storm. You know, sometimes it takes days, weeks, even months, and often part of that recovery and rebuilding time is happening while the power is still out. We get a lot of power outages from these downbursts, and meteorologist Ashley DiMartino is showing us how SRP works to get it quickly restored.
As soon as a power outage is reported,
we have basically our first responder group, which is our troubleshooting group. They go out, initially assess the damages.
crews grab supplies from the SRP yard. Working with live electrically charged lines takes teamwork. It's not just the eyes in the sky, but on the ground that helps SRP linemen get repairs done safely and quickly to turn your power back on.
We have people on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So if you see a down power line after a monsoon storm,
just stay away and call 911.
When it comes to tracking power outages where you live, here are the websites to go to: srp.com/power or aps.com/outage.
Another big concern during the monsoon is flash flooding. Roads can be turned into raging rivers in an instant. We'll introduce you to the heroes saving lives when the monsoon floodwaters rise. And many of you are asking how climate change is impacting our monsoon. I'll show you the changes we are already seeing and what the future could hold. You're watching the ABC15 Monsoon Special. But first, it's time for another monsoon quiz. Do you know when Phoenix had its rainiest monsoon on record? Was it A, 1911, B, 1984, C, 1999, or D, 2014? Don't cheat and Google it. I'll have the answer for you right after the break. Welcome back. Before the break, we asked, when was Phoenix's rainiest monsoon? If you answered B, 1984, you nailed it. That was our wettest monsoon on record, with more than 9 inches of rain at Sky Harbor.
Was in Prescott driving, freeway, and like the road completely flooded. I couldn't see like 5 feet in front of me. I had to pull over. The water was like up to my tire wheels.
Monsoon storms often hit fast and furious, like that one Bailey had to deal with in Prescott. The heavy downpours can leave our streets flooded for hours, even after the storms die down. And every year, people get trapped in the floodwaters. Meteorologist Ashley DiMartino is introducing us to the heroes that rescue them.
Hey Scott, we just got a call for water rescue.
The call comes in at Arizona DPS Air Rescue. The crew has just moments to assess the information.
But the biggest thing, obviously, during monsoon and weather like that is actually determining whether or not we can even get to the scene. There's a lot of challenge in sometimes just arriving at the scene.
Plan for a mission.
We'll pull it up on Google Earth. We can see what the terrain looks like so we can determine, are we going to be hoisting here? Is there a place we can land? Do we need a shuttle cruise in and out?
And gear up.
So here's our hangar here, where we keep our aircraft and all of our equipment. Anytime we get a call, this is where we always end up grabbing the gear that we need and things like that.
Once they take to the skies,
Probably one of the most technical and dangerous rescues we do in the area.
Anything can happen.
Every water rescue is completely different. There's different dynamics. It depends, what's water flows like, what's the elevation like, what kind of vehicle are they in, how many people.
These intense rescues happen all over the state, from the border to the Colorado River to right here in the valley. And with every rescue,
the two biggest things people say is thank you and I'm sorry.
That's rewarding when you can pull somebody up and they're so grateful.
Their advice to you if you come across a flooded area is to just wait it out so you don't find yourself needing to be rescued by these guys.
Community hero?
No, just doing our job.
No, just grateful to have a wonderful job.
We don't really do anything else that anybody else out there wouldn't do. We're just kind of given the tools to go do the job.
Some of the worst flooding that we see each year comes off of our wildfire burn scars. Meteorologist Justin Hobbs is showing us why that scarred land is such a big flood threat.
Right before the monsoon rains begin to fall, Arizona is in the height of its wildfire season, and the changes that these fires can have on our landscape dramatically increase the threats during our monsoon. Let me show you how. So normally during our monsoon, the rain gets absorbed by the tree canopy and the ground. But where wildfires have scorched the land, we get a hard crust on the surface, and that repels the water instead of absorbing it. So when the monsoon storm hits, the rain won't soak in like it's supposed to. Instead, it runs off of the burn scar just like it would on pavement. So flash flooding and debris flows can happen much faster with little rain, sometimes even miles from the burn scars. Water picks up mud and debris and moves it down slope, threatening communities far from the fire or even the storm. If you live near a burn scar, protect your property by sealing cracks in your foundation and walls. Check floor drains are properly working and set up a flood barrier like sandbags or even a flood wall.
Here in the valley, at the moment rain starts to fall, the Flood Control District of Maricopa County is tracking it. Their team of meteorologists and hydrologists watch for the potential of flooding with more than 400 rain gauges across the county. This extensive network is crucial to getting information into the hands of local emergency managers who may need to close roads or respond to flash flood emergencies.
Once we reach certain thresholds, like a half inch in 30 minutes, in certain parts of the valley, that's enough to start triggering runoff. So we'll get an alert alarm. That alarm will let us know, oh, there's heavy rain falling, let's say in South Phoenix. We need to give those folks a call and let them know that certain roadways might be affected.
Rain gauges are located in every part of the valley. So if you want to see how much rain fell in your neighborhood after a storm, we put a link to that data on ABC15.com/monsoon.
So, will this monsoon be a stormy one with lots of rain in those gauges, or another brutally hot and dry one like last year? I'll show you exactly what to expect. Plus, we'll show you ways to keep you and your family safe as the storms roll in, coming up on this ABC 15 Monsoon Special. But first, we've got one more monsoon quiz for you. And if you're not a native Arizonan, this one may be tricky. After a good monsoon rain, the desert has a distinctly different smell. Do you know why? Is it A, the rain itself, B, our saguaros, C, the soil, or D, plants like creosote? We'll have the answer right after the break. Welcome back. This is it, our last monsoon quiz. We asked what gives the desert its unique smell after monsoon rain. And the answer is D, plants like creosote. It's a native bush here in the Sonoran Desert, and it releases an earthy smell from a coating on its leaves that helps conserve water. Recently, researchers have identified at least 60 other plants that may also contribute to the smell of rain here in Arizona.
I want to know why some summers are like hotter than others. I feel like sometimes they kind of go back and forth.
Thanks for the question, Alexis. She's right. Some summers are much hotter than others, and a lot of that has to do with how much rain our monsoon brings. So let me show you what we're expecting this year. The Climate Prediction Center has odds favoring a wetter than normal monsoon season. For Phoenix, that means the chance of getting more than our monsoon average of 2.43 inches of rain. But that average is much lower than it used to be as climate change continues to dry out Arizona. When the new 30-year averages were calculated in 2020, our monsoon rainfall dropped by over 1/4 of an inch. That's a significant shift in an already dry place. So why is this happening?
What we've observed in the last 20 years or so is that monsoon ridge, it's growing more intense and it's growing more spatially expansive. So the bigger and more expansive that ridge is, that the more propensity is for the air to sink from the upper atmosphere, so it suppresses the atmospheric instability and it makes storms harder to form.
That's Dr. Christopher Castro. I spoke with him about this before last year's monsoon, which ended up being one of the top 10 driest on record because of that expansive monsoon ridge. Without monsoon rain to cool things off, that also leads to much higher temperatures. Last year was the hottest summer on record, and this summer is expected to be hotter than normal too.
And what we can say about the monsoon is generally all the way around it's getting more extreme. So when we get our heat waves, now those are more intense than they used to be. We're getting some of our hottest summers. Phoenix realized some of its hottest summer conditions last year. And then when it rains, it may not rain as frequently as it used to, but when it does, it tends to be more intense.
That intensity makes it harder for us to adapt. When it's extreme heat, we see more deaths, nearly 1,000 last year in Arizona for the second year in a row. And when it's extreme rain, we see more flash flooding, which can lead to dangerous situations and close calls for us all.
All it takes is one big storm to come in and tear things up. So now is the time to get ready and make sure you know what to do to stay safe. Jorge, Ashley, and Justin are sharing some tips.
From the first clap of thunder this monsoon, it's important to remember that no place outside is safe during the storm. So when thunder roars, go indoors. Keep away from windows and stay out of contact with electronics plugged into the wall. Lightning could travel through them and right up to you. If you're outside swimming, get out of the pool immediately. Water is a good conductor for electricity.
When it rains, it's never a good idea to be anywhere near a flooded street, wash, or canal. You don't know how strong the waters are flowing or how deep it is. People are washed away every summer on foot and in their vehicles. So watch out for flooding where their highways dip, near bridges, and in low-lying areas. And remember our Arizona Stupid Motorist Law. If you ignore posted signage near flooded areas and you get stuck in the water, you may have to pay for your rescue. It's also important to know the difference between flash flood watch and a flash flood warning. A watch means that flooding is possible, so be on alert. A warning means that flooding is already happening. So just use common sense and find another way around the water. If you're camping, don't park along streams or washes.
You can also save yourself a lot of hassle and worry by making sure your home is prepped for the monsoon. Here are some tips. Trim large tree branches back as much as possible. The last thing you need is them snapping or ramming through your windows or falling on your car when hit by lightning or downburst winds. Also, have your roof inspected for leaks. Tiny holes or cracks can go unnoticed and lead to a huge wet mess when the rain pours down. And make sure all your appliances are set up with surge protectors.
Hopefully those tips will help keep you and your family safe this monsoon.
Keep it right here on ABC15 at ABC15.com for your monsoon storm coverage and most accurate forecast.
And remember to download the ABC15 mobile app for live radar and for the forecast right down to your neighborhood.
You can also search ABC15 on your favorite streaming devices.
Thank you all so much for watching. We hope all of you have a safe monsoon.